This is who the media claims is elevating the WNBA. This is who the media has spent the last year wasting time trying to convince us that Angel Reese is responsible for elevating the dump.
The reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person, it's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that. It all started from the national championship game, and I've been dealing with this for 2 years.
Angel Reese was asked about this exact statement, and she decided to duck it.
You know that feeling when someone talks real loud all season long and then completely folds the moment they get called out? Yeah, that just happened, and not just to anyone. We're talking about Angel Reese, the same Angel Reese who told the world, "People watch women's basketball because of me too." Well, guess what? A reporter brought that exact quote back up to her face.
Last year, you made a powerful statement saying the reason people are watching women's basketball is not just because of one player, but because of you too. A year later, do you feel like you're
Next question.
Yeah, we'll move on. Thank you.
And let's just say, things got real uncomfortable, real quick. And the wild part? That moment wasn't even the most shocking thing. What comes after? The numbers, the receipts, the reality check. It's even messier than you think. So before you go taking sides, you need to see what actually went down. Because once we lay it all out, from the awkward press conference to the brutal viewership comparisons, you're gonna see the truth a whole lot clearer. This might just be the clip that follows her forever. Let's talk about it. Let's rewind for a second. After LSU's big win over Iowa in the national championship game, Angel Reese wasn't just celebrating, she was owning the moment. She leaned all the way into the spotlight, played the villain role loud and proud, and made one of the boldest claims women's basketball had ever heard.
I know I'll go down in history. I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person, it's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that.
That wasn't taken out of context. She meant every single word. And to her credit, she wanted that role. She didn't back down. She embraced the attention, the drama, the headlines, all of it. She even said she'd be the villain if it meant people were talking. And at the time, sure, the spotlight was shining. She was everywhere. Interviews, features, TikToks, brand deals. But here's the thing about calling yourself the reason people are watching. Eventually, somebody's gonna ask, where's the proof? And that's exactly what happened. So, fast forward to this season. Chicago Sky's Media Day. New year, new team, same Angel Reese, and same bold statement still hanging in the air. Then it happens. A reporter raises their hand, looks her dead in the face, and asks the exact question we were all waiting for.
Last year, you made a powerful statement saying the reason people are watching women's basketball is not just because of one player, but because of you too. A year later, do you feel like you're
Next question.
Yeah, we'll move on. Thank you.
And Angel? She didn't blink. She didn't pause. She just said, next. Question. That's it. 2 words. No clarification. No follow-up. No attempt to stand on what she said last season. And yo, the whole room felt it. That awkward silence that creeps in when someone ducks a question they know they can't answer. She didn't even try to defend it. No numbers. No logic. No receipts. Just a cold pivot and a quick move to zoom. Questions like it never even happened. And that right there, that was the moment. That's when it all changed. Because if you're gonna make bold claims, you better be ready when someone circles back. Especially when the facts are public. Especially when the receipts are real. And trust me, we've got the receipts. Alright, now that we've seen Angel Reese hit us with that legendary next question, let's do the part she didn't. Let's actually look at the numbers. Because if you're gonna say you're the reason people are tuning into women's basketball, the evidence should be everywhere, right? Sold out games, packed arenas, buzz, celebrity appearances, national headlines. Let's start with her new team, the Chicago Sky. Last season, the Sky averaged just under 8,000 fans per home game. Not terrible, not amazing, but definitely not face of the league numbers. This year, even with all the hype around her WNBA debut, things haven't looked much better. One preseason home game against the Minnesota Lynx barely cracked 4,600 people. 4,600 in a city like Chicago? Now let's compare that to the actual needle mover, Caitlin Clark. The Indiana Fever didn't just sell out Gainbridge Fieldhouse. They packed it with 17,000 plus fans. Every single game. People are literally lining up for hours just to get a glimpse of her warm-up. And Angel? She had a homecoming game back at LSU. Her stomping grounds, the place where she won a championship, where the fans should be dying to see her again. How many showed up? A little over 6,000. That's less than half the arena's capacity for a returning champion on her old home floor. That's not superstar energy. That's "we'll come if we're bored" energy. And just to be extra clear, these are preseason games we're talking about. Clark's preseason games are doing regular season NBA numbers, while Reese's feel like open gym at a college rec center. So when we're talking about impact, when we're talking about who's really bringing eyes to the sport, you've got to face the facts. Angel talked big. She claimed that people watch because of her. But the attendance numbers? They're telling a completely different story. And we haven't even gotten to merch sales, TV ratings, or national exposure yet. But don't worry, we're just getting started. Now let's talk about something that never lies: sales. Because in sports, popularity isn't just about who trends on Twitter or who gets the most clicks on TikTok. It's about who gets fans to open their wallets, who moves jerseys, who fills shopping carts, who makes the league money. And in that arena, Caitlin Clark is absolutely dominating. Let's start with jerseys. In 2024, Clark's jersey didn't just break records. It became the second best-selling basketball jersey in the entire country. Only Steph Curry was ahead of her. Let me say that again. Steph freakin' Curry ahead of LeBron, ahead of Durant, ahead of WNBA vets with multiple I rings, and Angel Reese, not even in the top 10. She didn't sniff the list. And before anyone says, well, Angel has fans too, sure, she's got a following. But followers don't always equal buyers. Social media clout doesn't always convert to actual dollars. Meanwhile, the Indiana Fever saw the demand coming and launched an entire marketing campaign around Clark called Now You Know. They've got tour-style shirts, posters, billboards, and they're not subtle about it. One of the shirts literally says, "Every game is a home game." That's not just a catchy slogan, it's a flex. Because it's true, wherever Clark goes, arenas get packed, merch tables get cleared, entire fan bases show up just to watch her shoot a warm-up three. It's not hype, it's history happening in real time. Angel, she's got endorsements, she's marketable, she's visible. But when it comes to impact, when it comes to driving real business, Clark isn't just ahead, she's in another league. This isn't about talent or potential, it's about proof. Clark is converting attention into action. Reese is still trying to catch up to the expectations she set for herself. And that gap, it's only getting wider. Alright, now if you still think this is just about opinions or personal preference, let's go straight to the networks. The people who literally get paid to know who brings in the views. Because TV airtime, that's not charity, it's business. And when ESPN, ABC, and Prime Video are choosing which games to air nationwide, they don't base it on vibes, they follow the money. So what do the networks think about Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark? Let's break it down. Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever will have 41 out of 44 games nationally televised this season. That's 93% of their schedule. Let that sink in, 93%. You know how many national TV games the Los Angeles Lakers had? Last season, 39. Yeah, Caitlin Clark is getting more national spotlight than LeBron James's team. Meanwhile, Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky, a handful of games, a sprinkle. You'll be lucky to catch one live without League Pass. And it's not just about scheduling, it's about viewership. When Clark made her WNBA debut, 1.3 million people tuned in on a random Sunday afternoon. That's more than some NBA playoff games. Preseason games with Clark drew higher ratings than most WNBA Finals games from the past decade. Angel Reese's games barely made a blip. No viral numbers, no massive headlines, no must-see moments, unless you count the next question moment, and, well, that wasn't exactly a highlight. Let's be real. When it comes to TV exposure, Clark isn't just ahead, she is the moment. The WNBA knows it, the media knows it, and honestly, so does Angel. Because when you get asked if people still watch because of you, and you have nothing to say, that silence speaks louder than anything else. Okay, so we've seen the numbers, we've seen the empty seats, we've seen the merch sales, the TV schedules, the viral moments, or in Angel's case, the lack of them. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Let's talk about how each player's team is treating them. Because if Angel Reese is truly the face of the league, you'd expect the Chicago Sky to roll out the red carpet, right? Build a system around her, stack the roster with support, set her up to succeed, but that's not what's happening. The Sky's whole approach feels unsure, directionless. It's like they're still trying to figure out if Angel is their franchise player or just a flashy draft pick who talks a lot. There's no real structure, no clear message, no strong identity being built around her. Now compare that to what Indiana is doing with Caitlin Clark. From the second they drafted her, the Fever made one thing very clear. We are building this team around her, not waiting to see what she becomes, not testing her fit. No, they're all in, right now. They brought in veterans like Natasha Howard, Dana Evans, and Sophie Cunningham, Players who know how to win, who've been in big games, who can take pressure off Clark while she adjusts. And it's not just names. These are perfect fits. Shooters, defenders, playmakers, all designed to complement Clark's game. Even Sophie Cunningham, who's known for her grit and no nonsense. Style said it best. Caitlin's game? Spicier, flashier, even more dangerous than a young Diana Taurasi. That's not just hype. That's a recognition of real star power. And it doesn't stop at the roster. The Fever have upgraded facilities. They're investing in marketing. They've put Clark front and center in literally every campaign. They didn't just draft her. They built an ecosystem around her. Meanwhile, in Chicago, what's the plan? Who's the core? Are they building around Angel or just hoping she figures it out? Because if you're the centerpiece, the team should reflect that. But right now, the Fever look like a championship program in the making. And the Sky? They look like a brand trying to go viral. And that's the difference. Caitlin Clark didn't just bring talent. She brought clarity. She gave Indiana a blueprint. Angel brought chaos. Headlines, drama, and mixed signals. Only one of those is turning into wins. And we're about to see that play out in real time. Now when that next question moment hit the internet, oh, it blew up fast. Clips were flying around on Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, and the response? Let's just say it wasn't kind. People weren't just clowning the answer. They were calling out the entire brand that Angel Reese had been pushing. Because remember, she chose this spotlight. She chose to position herself as the villain. She chose to say she was the reason people were watching. But the moment someone asked her to back it up, crickets, dodges, silence. And when the numbers didn't back her up either, it wasn't Angel who stepped up to clear the air. It was her mom. Yep, Mama Reese took to Twitter, X, to clap back at the critics. She tweeted, "That certain fan base looking in the stands celebrating attendance while others are looking up in the rafters celebrating championship banners. We ain't the same." Translation, y'all might have the fans, but we have the rings. And look, it sounds clever at first, until you actually think about it. Because what Angel Reese is being criticized for has nothing to do with championships. Nobody's arguing about her winning in college. We saw that. We celebrated that. The issue is her WNBA impact, her drawing power. The very thing she claimed made her the reason people tuned in. And the moment that came into question, the Reese camp didn't offer stats, or leadership, or receipts. They offered deflection. The attitude suddenly shifted from, "We're the face of the league," to, "Well, we won in college, so who cares?" That's not confidence. That's spin, and it says a lot. Because when you can't answer with facts, you fall back on feelings. You attack the critics, you reframe the conversation, and you hope people forget what the original question even was. But we didn't forget, and neither did the fans. That press conference moment wasn't just awkward, it was revealing. It showed us that maybe Angel knew deep down the numbers wouldn't back her up. And instead of facing the reality, she ducked it. And now, she and her circle are scrambling to protect the image. But the truth is already out. So now that we've seen the clips, the stats, the sales, the crowds, the networks, the way their teams treat them, I think it's time we stop dancing around the question, is Angel Reese the reason people are watching women's basketball? No. And honestly, she's not even close. Look, when she made that claim last year, people were willing to give her the benefit of the doubt. She was fresh off a championship. She was loud, unapologetic, confident, and in a sport that desperately needed attention, that energy felt electric. It felt needed. But now, a year later, the numbers are in, the spotlight's on, and we can all see it for what it is. Angel made a bold claim, and Caitlin Clark cashed the check. While Angel's ducking reporters and defending herself through her mom's tweets, Caitlin's not saying anything. She doesn't have to. She lets her game speak. She lets the numbers speak. She lets sold-out arenas, record-breaking jersey sales, and national broadcast schedules do the talking. One of them tells you she's the reason. The other one just is. It's not about who's the better player. That's a debate for the court. This is about who's actually moving the needle, who's lifting the WNBA, who's bringing in fans, ratings, sponsors, attention, momentum. And right now, that's Caitlin. Period. Angel wanted to be the villain. She wanted to be the face. And hey, credit to her for trying. But that role comes with responsibility. It comes with pressure. And when that pressure finally showed up, she disappeared. Caitlin didn't ask for the attention, but she earned it. Angel demanded the spotlight, and now it's exposing her. This isn't hate. This isn't drama. This is reality. The kind of reality that can't be dodged with a next question. So, what do y'all think? Did Angel Reese just get exposed? Or is this just a case of the media doing what the media does? Because from where I'm sitting, this wasn't just a bad moment. It was a full-on reality check. And while Angel's out here dodging questions, Caitlin Clark's out here rewriting the WNBA playbook with every game she plays. If you're Team Clark, drop a CC over Bricklayer in the comments. Let's see how deep the squad really runs. And if you're still riding for Reese, cool. Just know we're keeping receipts this season. No more dodges, no more spin, just results. Hit that like button if you're here for facts over feelings. Make sure you're subscribed and turn on those notifications so you never miss the truth when it drops. We'll catch you in the next one.